Welcome back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer 1745 playing Hearts of Irons 3's Black Ice 11.2. Now, I like to talk about history. I just like to do that. So we don't always get as much playing as some of the people watching would like to have playing. And of course, I'm also making this live, and so I'm getting some input from the chat, which will sometimes take me off course from what we're talking about. But the purpose of this, one of the major purposes, it's meant to be fun and meant to be, enjoyed and watched, most assuredly. But there is a purpose, deeper purpose to this channel, and that is to teach history, teach the lessons, even more importantly, the lessons from history. And that's why I really hope people want to come here and to learn bits and pieces about history and what it means to us and what it means going forward and why we are what we are today. And so I really appreciate everyone who can help support me in this endeavor. So particularly I want to thank Tim, Strongarm, Niagara, Timothy, Sir Toyjet, and Gary for support over on Patreon. But everybody else, if I can just get you to maybe earn that, hitting that like button. And of course, if you're new here, please hit the subscribe button. And also really helps if you can go around, whether this video or in a bunch of other videos, just say hi, just make a comment. Doesn't have to be anything intelligent. I mean, hi, or how you doing, or hello. I'll probably reply back to you. Now, if you want to have a more interesting comment, that's absolutely great to do. But just do those on these videos. It really helps the algorithm and helps get this out to everybody else. And nowadays it'd be more likely LB Lesser Britain. The Empire has reduced it. Yeah, it's a rabble of barbarism now. Yeah, I would agree with a rabble of barbarism comment. At least looking outside. Now we're having our own barbarians invade America too, so it's not that it's not happening in other places. But okay, we've lost the effects of high popularity, and we're just down to, or very high popularity, we're down to just high popularity. Okay, and these are various things, and a bunch of them we can't necessarily influence. Air Defense Network advances. Okay, that I believe is maybe here. No, here. Okay, 42, we're going to let that continue. Supplies, yeah, okay, that does hurt us some. Manpower a little bit, but we got plenty of manpower at the time. It's mostly just that. United Kingdom launched HMS Furious, and of course we already knew that the Andrea Doria was lost. I just quite honestly don't know what to do here. I'm not really watching this as carefully as I should. I know that. Got these guys out sort of doing naval strikes just in case anything gets close enough here. I have forces, but I'm somewhat afraid of pulling them out. I mean, I guess I could just pull them all the way out and let the Japanese re-invade and then re-invade to kill them. I don't yet really have enough forces, I think, to move down and take here. We're still holding key beaches just to make sure the Japanese don't, really flank us. I mean, we're not holding every port everywhere, but this week, maybe we should move one of these divisions to here. It's still sort of in the Manila area, but holding there. So I don't really think I'm strong enough. No, I'm probably strong enough to take another island or two, but I don't know if that's really going to help us. So I'm sort of ignoring the Pacific right now. True, he does answer. I try to answer everything, and now sometimes with good questions that Paul does, sometimes I'm very short. I do not like to type, people. Typing adds two levels of difficulty for me. One is just generically, I can think of the words, but then okay, I got to spell them, and then I got to, then I got to move my fingers around the type keyboard, and I'm not terribly quick. I've gotten better over the years, but Well, we already have well, there's Midway. You just got to find. We already have Wake, and we've never lost Guam. They've never attacked us in Guam. Guam is super big here. I don't, and the guy who did this asked me if I liked it, and I did not, because this makes it harder to defend. I know if it was more of a tactical game, and he also made this, if it was more of a tactical game, these would be better, but sort of a Mount Suribachi, better defended position versus here. But it isn't a good idea. Not on this. Put subs in Subic Bay. Well, I don't know specifically where Subic Bay is. I know it's here in the Philippines, but I don't. We have here. I had some submarines operating here, but a lot of out here a lot of them have been killed. I've got a fleet here just sort of protecting Manila Bay. I don't know where. I quite honestly don't know where Subic Bay is. We're right now, supposedly, I do know that Subic Bay and what was it, Andrews Air Force Base or something nearby, was sort of destroyed in a volcano eruption. And it was during the Aquino presidency, which Aquino was part of her reason for her revolution against Marcos. Then Marcos was a corrupt dictator. I'm not arguing that point, but was anti-Americanism. It was get rid of Marcos, and Marcos was seen as a puppet of America. Well, yes, we have lost the islands up here to Japan, but they can have them. I don't really care. I mean, they're not moving against any territory that's important. But if you guys don't follow international events very much, Duarte, the crazy man who was elected president of the Philippines, lost the last election, and I don't know his first name, but Marcos Jr. was elected president of the Philippines. So the people realize they elected the son of the dictator. And we're right now in negotiations to reacquire Subic Bay and rebuild the naval base there, and presumably an Air Force base or air base. I don't know if it'll be specifically Air Force independent, or whether it would be sort of a big joint complex with Air Force and naval stuff. But also 5 other basing locations in the Philippines, all dealing with the Chinese threat. So yeah. You really have to wonder, people look, and again, I know I should be playing the game. People, I mean, individuals are individuals, okay? Well, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking groups of people. Not everybody's the same. Not everybody wants democracy, okay? And not everybody values it. A lot of people see democracy as chaos, and we can look at like all the different governments of Italy over the years. I remember when I was in university studying political science, one of the professors liked pointing out this was in the late 80s or early 90s, I forget exactly the year, but right around there. There's been for as many years since World War II, there had been as many governments in Italy, because some of them lasted like 3 months, 6 months, and then some of them will last like 3 or 4 years. So there was not a solid enough consensus in Italy to provide a long-standing government to continue a policy through, effective fruition, to build enough railroad or do whatever the policies was. They're constantly changing policies, because there's between right and left politics, and for Italy it's a little bit also north and south politics, different parties, that there isn't enough consensus to have fairly long-term stable government with periodic, every 4 years or every 6 years or 5 years or whatever, check in with the people to see if what they want to vote. And so if you have a stable enough situation, and always some democratic representation is a good thing as a barometer of the people. But looking around like that, you have to see things like, and just today I heard about Sing In Win, I believe I'm pronouncing it right, the premier or prime minister or whatever of Taiwan is stepping down, or because it's Saturday and it was sort of yesterday in Taiwan, because her party lost they had a bunch of local elections, not the national who was going to be in charge, but the local elections, and especially I guess in the north up in Taipei, the KMT, the Kuomintang, the Nationalist Party, which had sort of been pro unification with China, won big time. These are all local elections. So, well, although it seems to be she was reasonably popular with her confrontation with and building up defense of Taiwan, her party, which is sort of based in the South, which did fairly well in the South, lost a lot of local city elections. So she stepped down as leader of Taiwan. The sort of other guy who was sort of premier, whatever, she was going to step down. It was also a party. She talked him into staying. So although she didn't lose her election to be head of Taiwan, she took the responsibility of, hey, we have not done well. And I like this when I see this happening in Japan, and I'm seeing this happening in Taiwan, as people are taking responsibility for it, and then, yeah, I'm out. Now, maybe she might come back someday, get reelected or run for office again. I don't know. But she is not just, I take responsibility and then just continue on, like we see in a lot of politicians, not just in America, but in a lot of Western countries. Well, yeah, I'll take responsibility, but then I'm going to continue on because I'm not leaving power. Now, she's stepping down. I think she has done a great job. Now, I'm not Taiwanese, but doing a great job in building up Taiwan's defenses vis-a-vis China, communist China. So she's taking responsibility with that and stepping down, and which is going to cause a little bit of problems with Taiwan and the defense there. We're going to see how that works out, and I'm sort of watching it. Well, the Philippines, you had Marcos, which was basically an American puppet dictator since basically the end of World War II. He wasn't the president that was there, that was sort of the actual puppet president, because it was an American protectorate during the period. And I'm not sure. I think it was like Korean War or whatever Marcos gets in, but he was there for a long, long time as an American puppet. And there was obviously, because he was a corrupt dictator, a lot of resentment against Marcos. And because America was supporting him, and because of the Filipinos don't like to admit that they're a puppet of anybody else. They don't like to even talk about or admit the very long Spanish occupation, and basically Spain giving them a lot of their culture, or even the more brief American direct control of the Philippines. It really hurts their pride. They do not like it, but too bad. It's a fact of life. That's what happened. They really don't like to admit this stuff. It is bad. So there was much of reason, that they wanted to get rid of Marcos. But we see them re-electing the dictator's son. Now, that doesn't mean he's going to become a dictator. But I don't know fundamentally, and especially seeing with the return of U.S. bases that we're negotiating right now with them, which, especially if they're giving it back Subic Bay, is functionally going to be, if that, not just, because when I was first hearing about it, was access to Filipino bases. From what I understand for the Subic Bay is, because we're going to rebuild it's functionally giving it back to U.S. functionally U.S. sovereign territory. Not that they can't take it back, but it's sort of going to be like Guantanamo Bay in Cuba, in that America will functionally control it. And set up as pseudo-American territory, not like Gibraltar or Falkland Islands or something that is integral, actual American territory. It's more like an embassies kind of territory. It's sort of like, I do believe more or less, and I don't know, Ramstein Air Base or whatever. The big American air base in Germany is functionally, once you're in there, you're an American territory, functionally. I don't know if any German law really penetrates it. Because I know that there are military police and whatnot to deal with whatever crimes that may happen on the base. So, and it's not like, if a U.S. soldier leaves a base and goes commits a crime in the Philippines, well, it's not like Germany where we accept that Germany has a good rule of law. We don't necessarily accept that the Philippines have a good rule of law. I do know that there have been in Okinawa, Okinawa is just sort of these islands in here. I think this would be it. Is that there have been some rapes or murders or whatever by American soldiers over the many years, just a few, and those have gone to Japanese courts, and they're very brutal on their prisoners. And we've allowed American Marines or sailors or whoever face Japanese justice for actions there and get convicted. I don't know how much we would allow that in the Philippines just because of the corruption, as opposed to facing, charging the soldier under U.S. military law for the crime, and if he gets convicted, it's going to be harsh on him too. It's not like free ride or no consequences. It just, I think if it was a U.S. service personnel, we would probably insist upon being the ones to actually try them, just because, again, I know it's sort of a, like the old, Chinese, European occupation of China, and that Chinese law didn't touch the Europeans and whatnot like that. It's something like that, and it's maybe not quite as open or, as stark as I'm stating it, but I sort of functionally been that way. It's not that they couldn't arrest a Marine or 10 for drunkenness and put them in the slammer overnight or whatever and fine them a bunch of money for tearing up a bar or something. I'm sure those kind of things happened all the time. I'm talking about serious situations. And the Filipinos know that, they're going to, if they get convicted in an American military court, they're going to face real punishment. This isn't just a slap on the wrist. So it sort of works. And so to seeing a country that will elect a son of a dictator, and knowing that more or less it seems that his policies match his father's, maybe without becoming a dictator, really sort of shows you how other cultures work than Western countries. So democracy, I don't take it as a value in and of itself. In fact, I actually agree that pure democracy is very, very hard to manage and work, and the only place that I know that it functions is Switzerland. Now, democratic representation within a government, like we have in the United States, because everybody out there, if you don't, including Americans, we're not the democracy, protecting our democracy. We don't have a democracy. We've never had a democracy. We have a constitutional federal republic with representative elements, meaning people vote mostly for representation. I do live in a state that I will say that does have direct democracy in the ideas of propositions. If you get enough signatures on petitions, that then you can vote yes or no on a law that is mass voted in my state. Not all states have these, but that is just on that, and it can be defeated and it can be overturned, and there's various things. But we live in a constitutional federal republic that has many democratic or representative elements in it, and I think that's very, very great. But that is not a democracy. It is not majority rules. It protects minorities, whether it's minorities of skin color or minorities of thought, religious minorities or other things. Or the rights of the losing party in the situation. That's what we see with a lot of democracies around the world. Whoever wins is now in charge, and the losers lose. And it's just that kind of way. And what has the chat been saying? Indeed, it has been said that democracy is the worst form of government, except all those forms that have been tried from time to time. Well, I would say democracy is, I think that was Churchill, but saying that, yeah, I get to your stuff, say that, Exergen, but I still think a constitutional republic is much better than democracy. Much better than democracy. A constitutional republic. If you have a cultural identification, a constitutional monarchy is also another good thing. One of the problems of democracy is that it's governed by ideology and feelings. Not always the best solutions come up. A technocrat government would be more efficient, but less flexible and welcoming to new ideas. I know I have said it before, but take Crete quick. It will help you out a lot. And if you don't, at least start a strategic pump. I just don't have the supplies to either. I don't know. I'm so low on supplies out here. Putting more aircrafts to bomb it is just going to drain my supplies that I need to supply into here. And if I take it here, if I land troops here, I have no way of sending supplies other than flying them in, and I need all the supplies here. So I know if we had supplies, I would agree with you. Well done. You're a constitutional monarchy. Britain is, and a lot of European countries are, some more, some less. Constitutional monarchies with democratic representation in them. Meaning people vote for members of parliament or direct vote for parties or whatever that are set up under a monarchy, like the Dutch, like the Norwegians, like Sweden, where Germany and France are, Germany's a federal republic. France is, I don't know exactly what, it's has a president, premier or whatever, that has very little power, if I'm not mistaken, and then it has, in essence, this has a president with very little power. I think that's what it is, and then it has a premier or whatever who has the majority support in parliament. So France is a republic too. Yeah, but I'm trying to see federal republic. See, notice I use my words carefully. France is a republic, yes. Germany is a federal republic, meaning regions, and particularly because I studied it when there was the Federal Republic of Germany and the People's Republic of Germany. I know particularly like down in Bavaria, they run different parties and whatever. So there is regional governments. It is a federal republic versus just a republic. So it's a centralized republic in France, where it is a federal republic based somewhat, not as extreme of a federalized system, but a somewhat federalized system in Germany. Partially that was done because of the Catholics down in Bavaria, but also to allow region. Denmark is also with direct democracy. So yes, and so the monarchy and the constitution that sets up that monarchy sort of gives framework of government within, gives bounds, limiting bounds to what the politicians can do. And so, direct election. Okay, well, see, direct democracy and direct elections are two different things. In like Switzerland, there's a lot of everybody goes votes. What should this law be? And everybody goes votes. And it could be on local issues or on national issues, where mostly in America, you're electing a representative, whether he's sitting on the city council or sitting in a state or county or wherever. So you're electing representative. It's a representative democracy as opposed to direct democracy. Direct democracy is the only one that I know is functional in the world is Switzerland. And that, where Spain is a monarchy, Portugal is a republic. If I'm not mistaken, if I keep going on, I'm sure I'll get somebody wrong. But yeah, so, okay. Back to trying to play the game at least here. Soviet Union is operate migration. Okay, let's see. Do we want to... Yeah, we'll let them eat cake. Soviet Operation Migration, Special Purpose Armor Advance. That is these guys. See, I like to learn where all of these are so I can just go there. That's why sometimes I spend a lot of time looking for it instead of just going down here to cancel it. Okay, we have enough for a couple more slots here. No, actually, we are in a deficit. Okay, so no more. I don't like to do it. Direct election of representatives. Yes, and that's basically what America is. The only time that it's sort of indirect is with the President of the United States and the Electoral College, because the system was designed in the pre-mass communication mode, in which if you sent your votes in, to a central thing in bigger America way back when, they were afraid that the votes might not get there. So let's send people instead to do that. Yeah, well, Britain, okay. Now, what Beamslam is saying, and again, I'm taking him at face value, that it's a direct election of representatives. In Britain, you also have direct election of representatives, meaning you are voting for your members, and Britain has, and I'm what. Hey, Exurgent, have you ever seen the TV series 1990? I think I've only watched the first 2 episodes. I'm starting to watch it. It's a very interesting TV series, British TV series, 1990. That's why I'm asking you. Made back in the 1970s, to give you a reference. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but Britain, you vote for your local member of parliament, but you vote for that person, okay? And this is what so you vote for that member of parliament, but you're voting for that person. Now he has a party identification, conservative, Labor, Lib Democrat, or whatever. He has a party, party label, but you're voting for that person. So that is you're directly voting for a particular representative. Now, you go to Italy, you do not normally, and I'm specifying normally, do that. What you do with there is you vote for the party. Normally, you vote for the party, and then, and this is civics government class here, you vote for the party, and then they figure out, there's however many, enough votes, and okay, well, party X, well, it'll get 6 seats. Okay, so what they do is they get and they have a list that the party supplies of, 1 through, so if somehow a miracle idea that you win every seat in parliament, it's not going to happen. But they provide a list of 1 through however many members of parliament. And so they take the top 6 guys off, or women, men or women, and this is sort of to the story, guys off this list, on the voters list. And they become the representatives. So you're voting for the party, not the direct representative. So you're voting for the party in Italy, mostly. But, which was a very strange phenomenon way back when, and I only know this because it was sort of going on in the news back then, there was a porn star named Cicciolina. I think I'm getting that right, her name. And I forget, it was like some radical party. They put her on the list, and she went around campaigning for this party around Italy because it was going to be a big draw, get guys in, vote for this party that literally I think normally only got like 2 or 3 or 4 seats or something like that in the Italian parliament. That was like their max number of seats. Well, she does, gets a lot of party. So I think in her election, the reason I'm using 4 is because if I remember this correctly way back then, is they get like 4 seats in the Italian parliament. But because she was on that list, the voters for that party were able to go, and she was like, I don't know, number 30 or number 40 or whatever on that list. So no way was she going to get a seat in parliament. But all the guys went and put her, had somehow or on the voting slip to actually name her and not just the party. So the party was really embarrassed when she got like up in the top 4 or whatever. She got so many votes for her personally that they had to put her into parliament. So she ended up in the Italian parliament for like a series or 2. So that is, so you're mostly voting for the party list, but you can vote for a particular representative, at least unless they've changed it in Italy. I doubt they have, kind of thing. So there are voting for parties versus individuals. In the United States, we vote for the individual representative directly. We don't have that in the UK, only direct election, no representatives, but you can vote for the party or the politician. Right. Okay, so what you have is Yes. Okay. So what you have is you're voting for the party with the list of representation. So it isn't. Yes, you can vote directly for the party, but you're actually mostly voting based on party and not uh, on individual leaders. And in America, it's even more complicated. Unlike in every European country that I know of, the party specifies either who's running for a particular seat, like in Britain, or I think in France, because it's regionally elected, not on a national basis as a national percentage, like it is in Italy or Denmark. It is voted regionally. But the party specifies who's going to run in each of these seats or who's on the list. Where in America, it is that constituency, meaning whether it's like for a senator, the whole state, or if it's like for a representative, like in a local area, it's those local people pick who's going to be for the party in the primary. So if you have a very conservative area, very well that person's going to be a very conservative member for their party, and maybe not who the party bosses want to win. And if you have a very liberal area, a liberal member of, I'm thinking for like the Republicans, a liberal member will win the election. Again, probably who the party bosses like, but and so you get even more direct. So you within your party, you vote who is going to represent you, who gets the most locally, and then you vote for which guy or woman actually, who is Ciccolina. Yeah, the Italian ports. Yeah, that's it. And that was the situation. So yes, it was Ciccolina or whatever her name is. Yes, I remember she carried a little teddy bear or something around with her, and yes, flashed her boobs a lot. So I wonder whether a boob flashing party would be a winning, modern winning political strategy. I wonder if, and I know this is off topic, Feminine, or however you pronounce it, it's a women's based, European based protest group that normally goes protest an event and they take off their tops. They're actually very smart, unlike the U.S.-based ones who sort of kind of do this kind of stuff. The U.S.-based ones always pick very, very ugly women to do this. They're always very nice, attractive women. But in Europe, the biggest complaint is, as I would see, is they normally jump into the middle of somebody's speech or something and then just screech at the audience. So, yeah, I know sometimes it's happening in languages I don't understand. But even if I understood the language, it's screeching. And harridans, meaning women who harass people, men or women, but who harass people, are not well liked. So yes, they're attractive, whether I like their message or not. And sometimes it's been done in some of the eastern regions that are the message is like pro-democracy or anti-war. So I might agree with their message. I don't know. That doesn't mean I agree with all of their message. I don't follow it enough. I just know of the group. And they're smart that they use good-looking women to do this. I think they would do better because they're taking a small minority element and trying to get a lot of attention for them. I think they would do better if they didn't screech once they started protesting. If they didn't shout. If they just took their tops off and hold up a banner or something like that. That says, stop oil or free some political prisoner, or whatever their protest movement is about. Again, how much I pay attention to it, but just know that it exists. That would probably actually go over better with voters because it would get the attentions of people and get their message out without looking harassing. But I have to wonder if a modern political party were to try to do that, to actually drum up votes for their party instead of just a protest movement, how well that might do. No, that won't get your conservative Catholic voter, I'm sure. But if it was a centrist or leftist party that was actually doing that, I wonder whether that would do well or not. And that was also based partially off of watching what happened with the situation in Italy, and how much that got males to vote for a party that they otherwise wouldn't have voted for. I always wonder about political. Okay, that is here. Trucks and prime movers, 79. Okay, we're now in balance. Okay, let's see if we can get. I'm waiting, talking too much. I know, guys. Sorry. Oh, I know it's interesting for the chat here. I hope it's interesting for people other times. And we lost a submarine off Spain. Okay. Yeah, well, we should be flying. Now, they may be... Okay, these guys are beat up, so we're going to stop... Oh, pause. Stop them from flying. Get well organized. These guys should have been up, but I probably stopped them from flying because they got damaged. So let's do this. Air intercept. Okay, single engine airframe research. Raid out. And heavy bomber crew. I wonder how well protest movements do and how well various methods of campaigning, getting people's attention, getting people's support. Hey, Starstreak, how you doing? Free pizza or I take off my top. Well, maybe for you that would work in that we don't want to see you taking the top off, but what do Danes like on pizza? Bacon? Bacon wouldn't be terrible. That would be terrible. Some of the stuff I hear Northern Europeans putting on pizzas, it just seems gross to me. Okay, do we have a... Yes, that's what I'm looking for. The 5th Army. Hello. 5th Army with lots of good units. Well, maybe we should have moved you this way earlier. It's going to be too late to get in, but let's attach you to not the 5th Army, and let's attach you to the 5th Army. Let's come in here. Skill. We could promote somebody up. No, not a Grimes here. He has a lot of skill. We'll put him in charge there. And Armored Corps. We're going to put the 2 armored divisions under the Armored Corps first because we want to have most of the forces there. Not so much him. We have some of these forces over here, yes. Go to the more mobile forces. We're going under the Armored Corps. Yeah, your core is way too far away, so we're going to move you there. And I think that'll be 5, yes. Okay, so the Corps M here will take the rest of the forces. And they'll be close enough to command, even though they're sitting down here. Different 5th Corps. Okay. Here and get there. Twin engine bomb bay advance. No, I guess it's over. We're gonna do 4 engine bomb bay. And yes, I could and should not just because I'm talking so much, but pay more attention to like the bombing campaign in Europe and Asia and whatnot. Yeah, and we should look over here because these guys are going down. But okay, well these guys can move into here. These guys can support any attack. I like that they can do that. These guys have supplies, so these guys get to start moving there. If we can take into here, these guys could theoretically fall out to here. Like we can't. Oh, okay, we're here. Let's see. Nope. No, there's still an Italian force somewhere in here that's keeping me from getting across the straits. An Italian naval force or something. I don't see it. Could be submarines or something. I don't know. Twin engine ground crew. Here. Shift this over to armor, combined arms. On we go. There. I wish I could get across these straits. I just can't. Don't have the supplies until I get this thing taken care of. So yes, this should be played a lot slower than I'm playing it. Okay, so these are just slow-moving units. All right. Let's move the 2 armored units onto ships, along with this is a highly motorized unit that can go on ships that'll go fast. Because we're looking at, although we don't have mountain divisions because I haven't made any. Oh, no. Okay, what we're gonna do here is get off ship. Get off ship. Okay. What we're gonna do here is I don't like the way they've done this. This is another thing that Exergen is the one that is somewhat, we haven't really got started, so that's why I'm saying somewhat, is going to help me when he can, once I get things organized myself up, to continue to work on getting Third Reich events to working the way they need to work. Right now, this is the max number of brigades. I like the idea of going to the 7th Brigade in the unit. This unit here, the HQ, allows these other units to have bonuses from combined arms. If you don't have a headquarters in a unit, you don't get bonuses from combined arms, unless you've got one of these or a couple other specials. But these guys can replace the headquarters unit and still get combined arms bonuses. So we can see here, when we look here, we still see this combined arms bonus, even though we no longer have the HQ. And he is a really good bonus to various things, forward attack and whatnot. And I think all of the, no matter the commander, obviously this is Patton, no matter the commander, I believe they're all the same. I've not 100% confirmed that. But this no longer. Oh no. Okay, yeah, that's right. Yeah, no. Okay, so we have Bradley and we need to get the other guy off the ship. No, he's off the ship. Okay. Oh, here. Bradley keeps moving around, and that with each. So we're gonna. Oh no, I got the wrong one. Damn. Gotta click right. Click correct. Okay, move him off, and then yeah, we'll put in almost Bradley here on that division. So that will be better. And then let's get this, because this is a very mobile infantry division. Motorized, fully motorized, not just semi. They're just somewhat breaking of immersion, and I get their points. I just disagree with their points on some of this stuff. So let's move him off here. I would not have had George Marshall as a battle commander because he did not. He did not. He was back in Washington D.C. the whole time, so I don't know if he would have been any good. I'm not saying he was bad. I just don't know. He was a great organizer. I mean, his overseeing of the organization of the U.S. expeditionary forces, I would say, was great. Okay, let's do this. These guys and this the unit. That over there. So now this is something not quite super force, but somewhat super force. So let's get, we can get all of these. These will be ones without the colorful HQs in the top. Here, put them on board the ship. Okay, and can we put in one more division to go in and hold the port once we go here? So we are going to go, well, let's pause this, or no, save this. Pause it. Okay. We're going to go, I want to invade here just because. Let's try an invasion here. I think because when you zoom out to the right distance, I've seen a Spanish unit in Gibraltar oil refining advance. Okay, well, refining efficiency up to 88%. So that, or yeah, so that is really good. We've needed that for a long time, and no, we're not going to continue that. That will really help some of my fuel problems that I've been having. Yeah, let's just models are we facing here? Okay, which hopefully won't be much. Okay, that I think is type Pioneer landing something or other. Well, we just took out a huge Italo-German land, transport units. I don't know what the hell they were doing here. Okay, it looks like there's no opposition. Okay, Australia. Yeah, we'll trade with Australia. Okay, well, oh, this is great. See, and this is what I worried about here. I know I didn't explain it all, and could look like I'm saying afterwards, but I believe, because I did it, because you could, depends on what level you zoom into what you sort of see. We did sort of spot that there was a unit here. I don't think it's terribly strong, but it is in the strongest possible defenses on the map, because these go, I believe, all the way to the top. But we'll look at that once we get there. Now, if I invaded here, they might just do what we're doing here and get in and block me before I get off the ships. That might happen. But if I come here and there was nobody here, I could get ashore before they could move to block it. And they might be dumb enough, because this is a very dumb AI, to move out of the super defensive Gibraltar and maybe just move into the mountains here. And which if I can defeat them in the mountains and then just run into Gibraltar, or if we can get in here is to do a second, once we land here, come back here and get a second couple of divisions and go straight into Gibraltar undefended. So one of the two or both or something like that. Radar for destroyers and frigates and other light vessels. Great, grayed out, maxed out. Okay, standard infantry branch upgrade. So now we're going to need to be upgrading a lot of our infantry units. So yes, it's actually my brilliant design, my brilliant plan. Well, let's do reconnaissance combined arms. And we'll do coordination, because that will keep there. Almost every division has a reconnaissance. So, yes, you can have that. Okay, so we're ashore. Don't know what, okay, well, we're not just, okay, he's still moving that way. Actually want him to, I don't want to move in here. I want him to get out of this force. I want to move to here. He wasn't moving. Yes, we can do that. I would be going straight to the mountain. Okay, whoa, okay, there we go. So this is actually, something of a little bit of a problem, except for, like I say, now that he's moved out, Let's collect here and here. Put you guys on ships and invade Gibraltar. Where? Okay, we just took out here an Italian destroyer, 2 light cruisers, and the battleship Kyoyo Delio. I'm butchering that. Okay, any major damage? No, and yeah, we're all doing good. Oh, we will a little bit on the landing craft. Don't know why all these Italian vessels over here. We're back to high popularity. Very good. Or it's very high popularity. Airborne warfare research. We do not have any para divisions yet, but I do thought I would have by now. But radar training advanced. That's here for naval, I believe. Yep. Stop that. And heavy bomber pilot training advance. That is here. 45, good enough for now. Okay, we've won whatever battle here. Okay, now let's come back here quickly. And here. Do these, and then let's increase the organizational levels of some of these units. Get more possibilities because of, while we're doing that, let's just see if there's something I should be doing here. And we get across, oh, we can get across the river. There's nobody here now. No, okay, you go that way. You go that way. You go that, oh, no, we can't, okay. You need to come down. I don't know why you blitz across there. We still like to get across there. We give them money for fuel. Yeah, we can afford that. Monkeys and Broadshire still wage a vicious guerrilla warfare, yes. Oh, there was somebody still there, but it looks like we've won that battle. Okay. We've just secured Gibraltar, which will give us the Gibraltar effects and will allow us to sail past here. We need to move all of our forces right now into Gibraltar, I believe, because if we stand out here, I don't know how well we'll stand up to all of the attacks. But again, in here, like I said, okay, it's not fully maxed out. It's all but 2. I knew it was very high. But we also have coastal forts and that. So this is now Britain. Britain will have to supply it. So hopefully they'll get a supply convoy going here. We can, I think. Let's do this. Just okay. Create a supply convoy, and we want to come from Washington D.C. and now we're going to go to there, and we should be able to see that into there. But this also will allow us to Manila, Boston to. Let's create another supply convoy. We come out of Washington, D.C. Again, I have to keep saying this. There is no port in Washington, D.C. Never has been a port. I mean, like any sort of semi-commercial port. To Tunis. Let's go to Tunis. So now, Arno, we can possibly take out some islands. But I don't know whether this force would hold this port here. I just want to make sure I'm supplying it for now while I got forces here to make sure they don't run out of supply. I cannot supply into Gibraltar because it is a British port by the unfortunate game mechanics. But I can supply into my held territory. And so, but at least this way they won't be losing out because of lack of supply, you know, it's being stopped because they don't have fuel or supplies or whatever, and they'll get to here and be able to dig in and hold. Pluses, we like those. Everybody keep going into here. Everybody keep going. They can have their other territory back for now, because we can re-invade. We can invade out in Cadiz. We can invade over here. They got supply transportation advanced. Very good. And so we can see here that, again, I was asked earlier on, sorry, I forget who, one of the people in chat, hard to pronounce with the R name, sorry. Spain, in my opinion, is a detriment once you get America in. Now, this, we have 2 corps, or probably almost 3 corps worth of, that is, we can attach that to the 5th Army here. 15th Army Group. Let's see, do we have a, there we go. They're Eisenhower. Okay, so now they're all here. We have, under Mark Clark here, which we all know he isn't the greatest general. Wasn't so terrible. He was just a cautious general and not the general. Oh, he left. Okay, came back. Not the general you want to have commanding a rapid invasion. Here he's just back at the army commander, not up actually commanding the invasion. We have corps commanders doing this here. You have so much. This is the key. I am Alfred. I support Alfred Thayer Mahan viewpoint on history and naval influence of power. Until you had America, the winning naval powers were often, well, no, I would say Rome also. Rome and America. Until you, either under Rome or under America, you generally had the winning naval powers, the dominant naval powers, having relatively small populations. And of course, I was thinking of Britain at first, and then I was also thinking of Greece. But because when we're thinking of Greece, we're thinking of either like Athens or Sparta or other sort of city-states. And they could, and obviously like at the Battle of Salamis, were able to defeat the much larger Persian force. And generally speaking, in naval engagement between Greeks and Persians, generally speaking, all things being just, somewhat equal, the Greeks would win. So, but the Persians being a huge land force. Now with America, we do have a scale of population, and combining that with naval movements, all of this is now vulnerable to my attacks. Now I'm planning on, as Arno has been urging me to, and we will be in the near future, taking out some of these islands, because although we do have a large population, I have not provided us properly with a large military force to be able to conquer and hold all this territory. But I should be able to, take out a few islands, leave a garrison around on them that hopefully will be able to defend against invasions, and will be able to supply them with supplies, unlike what's happening here in Cairo, which I keep trying. Oh, well, these guys have, these guys are across here now. Okay, oh, no, you're still defending. You're a wreck. You're almost as bad a wreck, but we're going to try to get back so they can retreat somewhere else here. But now Britain should be able to also run, maybe expensively lots of convoys, and maybe to their detriment, but be able to run supplies into British ports, because they've not had a port anywhere in this field of operation, even in the Red Sea. So I think that's where we're going to end this episode. I want to thank everyone. I hope you've enjoyed my various commentaries while playing. I will see you next time for, yes, even more Hearts of Iron.